إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستهديه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله تعالى من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا إنه من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدًا عبده ورسوله أدى الأمانة وبلغ الرسالة ونصح الأمة وتركها على المحاجة البيضاء ليلها كنهارها لا يزيغ عنها إلا من كان من الظالمين ونصلي ونسلم على المبعوث رحمة للعالمين سيدنا محمد عليه أفضل الصلاة وأتم التسليم ثم أما بعد. All praises are due to Allah, whom we thank and praise, whom we seek help and ask for forgiveness, whom we seek protection from our own evils and our own bad deeds. Whomever Allah guides will never be misled, and whomever Allah misguides will never find someone to guide him. And I bear witness that there is no God but Allah without any partner, and that Muhammad is his slave and messenger. Brothers and sisters in Islam, we all know about the importance of having a good friendship in life. We go through a lot, and we always need a friend. We need a companion, someone who shares with you this life. And most of us have friends. But actually, we don't think so far about what's behind having this companionship, this relationship with your friend. Where can it lead it to? If we thought about the early generations of Muslims and how Islam spread in the beginning of its era, we'll see that having a good companionship and applying Islam in one's own personality, so that his friend will see Islam in his personality and will follow the religion and follow the deen because he saw his friend a very righteous person, will understand the importance and the consequences of having a good friend that can lead you to paradise, or astaghfirullah, can lead you to hell. And we have this good example of the Sahaba, who have always been an example for being a perfect companion to the Prophet and to their other Sahaba. They've always been known for their righteousness, for their charity, for truthfulness, for being close to their friends in the times of hardships and the times of ease as well. They've gone through everything in their life. They have gone through the times of hardship, like the ghazawat and the fights for the sake of Allah. They've gone through the times of hijrah, leaving everything behind and going to a new place for the sake of Allah and establishing a new life. And when they went there, they found new friends who shared with them everything as well. So that might give us an example of how a friend can lead you to a new entire life in the dunya and in the hereafter. Because the main purpose we are looking for in this life is to reach Jannah. This is what we need. So having a good companion and having a good friend will lead you to that. But don't forget that on the other side, it can lead to the other way. There's a story at the time of the Prophet. There is a man by the name of Uqba ibn Mu'tayt, who had a friend who was very attached to him since his childhood. He was very close to him. And his friend went out on a business trip. He traveled.
And during that time, Uqba met the Prophet, knew about Islam, and he actually became a Muslim. But when his friend came back, and he knew and was told that his closest friend converted to Islam, he went to him and he told him, "You would no longer be my friend until you leave Islam. And you go back to the old days, the old ways of worship. And not only that, but even hurting the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ." And they were very close to each other. And they were put to a test. So who you gonna follow? He treated him to cut all his friendship. And at the end, Uqba was influenced by his friend, and he actually left Islam. Left Islam and became one of the staunchest enemies of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. And about this story, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed an ayah in the Quran in Surah Al-Furqan. وَيَوْمَ يَعَضُّ الظَّالِمُ عَلَى يَدَيْهِ يَقُولُ يَا لَيْتَنِي اتَّخَذْتُ مَعَ الرَّسُولِ سَبِيلًا يَا وَيْلَتِي لَيْتَنِي لَمْ أَتَّخِذْ فُلَانًا خَلِيلًا. And the day of the wrongdoer will bite on his hands, and he will say, "Oh, I wish I had taken with the messenger away. Oh, woe to me! I wish I had not taken that one as a friend." Why? Because he led him astray. He took him away from the straight path. He made him leave Islam, the religion that he already accepted and he already got convinced with. But he couldn't sacrifice his friendship, his relationship, his old days with his friend with that. So this shows us an example of how a friend can take you from a new life or a better life to a worse one. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala described friendship based on other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as animosity and enmity in the hereafter. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran that close friends that day, in the day of judgment, will be enemies to each other, except for the righteous ones, those who were together in the dunya, helping each other, advising each other to find that goal that they wanted, to reach Jannah, to reach the satisfaction of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to help each other to do the good deeds and forbid each other from doing the evils. And also another example, the uncle of the Prophet, Abu Talib. Abu Talib was never a Muslim. But from the beginning of the Prophet's life, as he grew up as an orphan, Abu Talib was his uncle and he took care of him. At every moment, he was very supportive to him. Even when he was chosen by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to be a messenger, he stand next to him. And he would go with him at everything. And he would support him and he would stand with him against his friends. But when the Prophet ﷺ invited him to Islam, he couldn't. But why he couldn't? Because Abu Talib's peers, he had a very high status in Mecca, in the society, and his peers, who were his peers? Were Abu Jahl and the others, people, the disbelievers of Mecca, who hated the Prophet, have been the most hated enemies of Islam. So he couldn't stand to this peer pressure. He would be different from his peers. So his peers had an influence on him. His society, this relationship with his friends had an influence on him, has an impact on him. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told the Prophet, don't be sad. Because guidance is not a matter that you can handle. It's under Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala permission, under Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala control. So even when he knew the Prophet was inviting him to the truth, yet he gave the peer pressure and died without ever pronouncing the Shahada. And the enmity and the animosity in that day, the day of judgment, stems from the very reason that we were friends in this life. They used to corrupt one another, and they used to lead one another astray. They liked each other because they were partners in evil. But now that they have to face the consequences of their doings, they have to face the consequences of their doing. They have to start blaming each other for the misguidance that they have given to each other. And hence that moment, they will become enemies in the day of judgment. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala asks you, why did you do that? You would say, oh Allah, I didn't do nothing. My friend made me do that. He told me to do that. He told me, come with me. Let's do this sin. It's cool. But in the day of judgment, this will lead you to the hellfire. But as for the believers on the other side, they love one another in this life for the same reason that they will enjoy the extended friendship in the hereafter. And that will be living in Jannah by the satisfaction of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That Allah will say to them in the next ayah, that, O my servants, no fear will be there on you on that day, and nor will you be grieved. And you who believed in our verses and were Muslims, enter paradise. You and your likes delighted. The Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, in a straightforward statement, always warned us to who we choose as friends. And he said, الْمَرْءُ عَلَى دِينِ خَلِيلِهِ فَلْيَنْظُرْ أَحَدُكُمْ مَنْ يُخَالِلُ. That the person is upon the religion of his friend. So let you see whom you choose to be your friend. This is basically what it is. When you're always close to one of your friends, you're exactly like him. You're doing what he's doing, you're thinking what he's thinking, and you're finally reaching the same destination as him. قولوا قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم. وصلاة وسلاما على عباده الذين اصطفى ونصلي ونسلم على المبعوث رحمة للعالمين سيدنا محمد عليه أفضل الصلاة وأتم التسليم ثم أما بعد. Praise to Allah, glory to Allah. There is no power and no strength except from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Brothers and sisters, we have talked about how a friend, how a companion in this life can lead you in the hereafter. It's either to Jannah or to the hellfire. This is very, very clear. But during the dunya, there is also other considerations. How are you going to find this good friend? And who will guide you to the Jannah? And who will impact your dunya? Your daily life. How's it going to be impacted by that friend? And how can you treat him? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Al-Kahf, وَاصْبِرْ نَفْسَكَ مَعَ الَّذِينَ يَدْعُونَ رَبَّهُمْ بِالْغَدَاةِ وَالْعَشِيِّ يُرِيدُونَ وَجْهَهُ وَلَا تَعْدُ عَيْنَاكَ عَنْهُمْ تُرِيدُ زِينَةَ الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا وَلَا تُطِعْ مَنْ أَغْفَلْنَا قَلْبَهُ عَنْ ذِكْرِنَا وَاتَّبَعَ هَوَاهُ وَكَانَ أَمْرُهُ فُرُطًا. And keep yourself patient by being with those who call upon their Lord in the morning and in the evening, seeking His countenance, and let not your eyes pass beyond them, desiring adornments of the worldly life. and do not obey one whose heart we have made heedless of our remembrance, and who follows his desires, and whose affairs is ever neglect. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling you clearly in the Quran. It's a command from Allah that you have to be, and tasbir nafsak, that to be patient in finding and looking throughout your life for that good companionship, for that righteous friend that will lead you to what you need, that will make your life purposeful and meaningful. The Prophet Muhammad says in the hadith, سبعة يظلهم الله تحت ظله يوم لا ظل إلا ظله وواحد منهم رجلان تحابا في الله اجتمع عليه وتفرقا عليه. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the day of judgment, He will come two men under the shadow of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the time that you will never find a shadow. It will be very hot and everyone is stressed out. They will be calmed under the shadow of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, different from everyone else. Those two grew up loving each other for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, caring for each other for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, respecting each other for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that was their life in the dunya, and this is what they left each other when they died. And this is what they gotta continue their life in the Jannah. And this is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gathered them in the day of judgment under His mercy. It was always emphasized in the Sunnah that having a righteous friend is a very important thing. And sometimes the Prophet would give an example or give a symbol to make the people realize how dangerous it is to be with a bad company and how inevitable it is to be influenced by them. The Prophet ﷺ says this hadith as an example. إنما مثل الجليس الصالح والجليس السوء كحامل المسك ونافخ الكير فحامل المسك إما أن يهديك وإما أن تبتاع منه وإما أن تجد منه ريحا طيبة ونافخ الكير إما أن يحرق ثيابك أو إما أن تجد ريحا خبيثة. The translation is that the likeness of a good company is that of the seller of a fragrance, of perfume. He will either offer you some, sell you some, or if nothing else, you will smell good fragrance in his presence. Whereas the likeness of the bad company is that of the blacksmith who blows into you the fire, and he will either burn your clothes or give you a bad odor. So even if you didn't interact with him at all, your friend will matter. Just being around him, being surrounded with this company will impact you. Either by a good odor, by a good fragrance, by a good smell, or by a bad odor. Or you will be burnt by their backbiting, by the sins that they're doing. By everything they're doing, it will impact you without you even realize. It will negatively affect you and affects everything you do in life and in the hereafter. Alqamah ibn Qais gave an advice to his son one day, and he told him, "Oh my son, when the time comes to you that you will need a friend, seek the friendship of one. If you do him a favor, he will protect you. And when you accompany him, he will make you look good in front of others. And when you are in need, he will fulfill your need, even if he was in need. And when you extend a hand to him, he will extend a hand back to you. And when he sees a good deed by you, he will count it for you. And if he sees a wrongdoing, he will correct you. Be the companion of the one who, when you ask him, he will give you. And when you are quiet, he will be the first one to talk to you. Come see what's the matter. And if a mashup occurred, he will comfort you. Be the companion of the one who, when you speak, will believe you. And when you attempt to do something, will assist you. And if you dispute about something, will favor you over himself. The Prophet ﷺ says, مثل المؤمنين في توادهم وتراحمهم كمثل الجسد الواحد إذا اشتكى منه عضو تداعى له سائر الجسد بالسهر والحمى. That the example of the believers, the status, the condition of the believers that should be known, should be applied, should be practiced, that in their mutual love and mercy for one another is like the example of one body. If one part feels pain, then all of the body suffers in sleeplessness and fever. And the Prophet ﷺ also says, المؤمن للمؤمن كالبنيان يشد بعضه بعضا. That the believer to the believer is like a solid building, one part supporting the other. There is no difference between them. Why? Because they're going for the same goal. They're assisting each other and helping each other for that same and that honor to be in the Jannah. And that's what they really need. That's what they really want. They don't need any interest behind you. They're not coming for you for a business or any other thing. They just need you to be on the right path. And they're always caring for you and your conditions. Once we have found good friends, it's important to keep them and maintain the friendship, because believers are connected by their love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and His messengers, and that entails certain responsibilities. This responsibilities that if a person must be prepared to overlook some of the faults of his brothers, because we're not perfect and we're not a saint. A person should overlook some of the faults of his brothers or sisters in Islam, and that he must be prepared to give them excuses for any incorrectness or any bad behavior they see in them, because we all do mistakes. But your true friend will not judge you for it. Will give you an excuse if you missed it sometimes. Will advise you. Will care for you. Will give back to you. Will not leave you alone. And this doesn't mean, however, that you should turn a blind eye to sin, that whatever he does, whatever he sins, okay, that this is an excuse for him, he will do whatever. No. But rather, it means that you must maintain the ties of friendship while seeking to understand and help those who have gone astray. Believers must never embarrass or publicly harass one another. Should have mutual respect, mutual understanding and consideration of each one's life and privacy. And they must never expose each other's faults. You're living this life with a very close friend, you go through everything together, and there are secrets between you and him, or between you and her. And once you go away, and she goes away, or he goes away, you start backbiting each other. This is not an advice. You're not caring for your friend's reputation. And that kindness and mercy must be evident in all the dealings, in everything they do together. You will find that there is mercy between them. And this was the the conditions of the Sahaba. They would forgive each other and always encouraging each other for the good deeds and forbidding each other for the bad deeds. And there is a hadith that whoever conceals the fault of a Muslim, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will conceal his fault on the Day of Judgment. That if someone close to you trusted you with one secret, was one thing, one matter, and you concealed that, even if he didn't tell you, he just trusted you with something, and you just went in front of each one and you just said that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will conceal your faults on the Day of Judgment, because you too have ones. An Islamic scholar, Ibn Mazin, said, the believer seeks excuses for his brothers, whilst the hypocrite seeks out their faults. He's not true, he's not truthful to you as a friend. He's just a hypocrite. And Hamdun al-Qassar said, if one of your brothers commits an error, then seek 90 excuses for him. 90 excuses. And if not, then you are the blameworthy one. Because once you get close to one, you really know his inside matters. You know how a good person he is. You know his manners. You know that he's a righteous person, but he might do some mistakes. So when he does one, just give him an excuse. You stand next to him. And that believers should never be envious of one another. And that she always should be happy when the blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala fall upon their friends and companions. The Prophet, may the mercy and the blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala be upon him, said, لا يؤمن أحدكم حتى يحب لأخيه ما يحب لنفسه. That none of you truly believes, truly becomes a Muslim, truly believes in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, truly understands the purpose of life, until he wishes for his brother what he wishes for himself. That if you wish for yourself Jannah, you will help your friend to achieve Jannah. That if you want a successful life in any matter of life, you would love that to your friend, to your brother. The relationship between the Sahaba and the early generations of Muslims wasn't that we see these days. They were close to each other as brothers. And from them we took the meme of being the brother to one another, because they were actually brothers to one another with full meaning. So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us good and righteous friends and companions to our friends. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to guide us to those who will guide us to the Jannah and the satisfaction of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. اللهم اغفر لنا ذنوبنا وإسرافنا في أمرنا وثبت اللهم على الحق أقدامنا وانصرنا على القوم الكافرين. اللهم اهدنا فيمن هديت وعافنا فيمن عافيت وتولنا اللهم فيمن توليت وقنا واصرف عنا برحمتك شر ما قضيت إنك تقضي بالحق ولا يقضى عليك. اللهم اجعل القرآن العظيم ربيع قلوبنا ونور صدورنا وجلاء همومنا وأحزاننا. اللهم إنا نسألك في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم وأقم الصلاة. الله أكبر. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن
الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. واتل ما أوحي إليك من كتاب ربك لا مبدل لكلماته ولن تجد من دونه ملتحدا واصبر نفسك مع الذين يدعون ربهم بالغداة والعشي يريدون وجهه ولا تعد عيناك عنهم تريد زينة الحياة الدنيا ولا تطع من أغفلنا قلبه عن ذكرنا واتبع هواه وكان أمره فرطا وقل الحق من ربكم فمن شاء فليؤمن ومن شاء فليكفر إنا أعتدنا للظالمين نارا أحاط بهم سرادقها وإن يستغيثوا يغاثوا بماء كالمهل يشوي الوجوه بئس الشراب وساءت مرتفقا. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. عبس وتولى أن جاءه الأعمى وما يدريك لعله يزكى أو يذكر فتنفعه الذكرى وأما من استغنى فأنت له تصدى وأما من جاءك يسعى وهو يخشى فأنت عنه تلهى كلا إنها تذكرة فمن شاء ذكره في صحف مكرمة مرفوعة مطهرة بأيدي سفرة كرام بررة قتل الإنسان ما أكفره من أي شيء خلقه من نطفة خلقه فقدره ثم السبيل يسره ثم أماته فأقبره ثم إذا شاء أنشره كلا لما يقض ما أمره فلينظر الإنسان إلى طعامه أنا صببنا الماء صبا ثم شققنا الأرض شقا فأنبتنا فيها حبا وعنبا وقضبا وزيتونا ونخلا وحدائق غلبا وفاكهة وأبا متاعا لكم ولأنعامكم فإذا جاءت الصاخة يوم يفر المرء من أخيه وأمه وأبيه وصاحبته وبنيه لكل امرئ منهم يومئذ شأن يغنيه وجوه يومئذ مسفرة ضاحكة مستبشرة ووجوه يومئذ عليها غبرة ترهقها قترة أولئك هم الكفرة الفجرة. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم